Hi students. So as you're setting out to write essay 1, I thought I'd discuss a little bit with you about how I view that essay 1 process. I've said that I call this draft the shitty first draft. The shitty first draft is a term that Ernest Hemingway used and then later Anne Lamott. And it just reminds us that this first draft is not going to be what our final draft looks like. It's not going to be our best work because it's the first time that we've sat down to work out these ideas on paper. We have to start somewhere, and so the shitty first draft is the place that we start at. We write this shitty first draft for ourselves to figure out what we're trying to say, and then we're going to get each other's help to revise it and make it better. Other professors have called it by different terms. I've heard the done draft, which I like because it just reminds us that all that first draft needs to be is done. For us, that means writing 3 full pages in paragraphs, in full sentences, so that our partners can read it. I also like this concept of a 0 draft because the 0 draft means we're not getting graded on it. We get points for having done it, but we're not getting a grade on this shitty first draft of any kind at all. So anything you forget to add, anything you want to change, you will have time to do that before I give you any grades on it. In that Murray article we read, he mentioned the test draft. This is like a test. We're trying out ideas. They may stay, they may not. I had a student who had written a few novels before, a few years ago, and she calls her first drafts the first pancake. I don't know if you're familiar with cooking pancakes, but that first one that you do when the pan's not quite hot enough all the way around, usually it's either doughy in the middle or it's misshapen and you end up throwing down. I eat every pancake. But I like that metaphor a lot, the first pancake. The rest of them are going to get stronger, the rest of those drafts. And then lastly, really my favorite terminology for our first drafts is the discovery draft, because I feel like this is the experimental part of the process where we're finding new ideas. We don't need to know everything before we sit down to write. In fact, we're not going to know everything before we sit down to write. That drafting process is going to actually clarify what we think about our ideas. So think about those different terms as you sit down to complete those 3 pages. I hope this helps you relax a little bit as you're writing. And I also hope it helps you set an intention that there's going to be a lot of room for improvement, and you're going to want to leave a lot of room for improvement because I'm going to be giving you points for making changes to your paper. So don't revise and revise and revise and make a really strong draft this time out, or you'll have less to do and less for me to give you points on. So really embrace this concept of the shitty first draft. Okay, happy writing.